9 years after it was negotiated, the Paris Climate Agreement continues to serve as a blueprint for global environmental goals. After 20 years of advocacy for an international treaty on climate, 195 nations, including the United States, debated and crafted the deal during the 2015 United Nations Climate Change Conference in Paris. Some of the long-term goals include keeping the global temperature below 2 degrees Celsius, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and collaboration between nations to adapt and fund climate-related initiatives. The agreement also requires countries to transparently monitor and report their climate action plans. One man essential to the deal being crafted was Todd Stern. He served as special envoy for climate change and former President Barack Obama's chief climate negotiator for the agreement. He has now written a book on his experience titled Landing the Paris Climate Agreement: How It Happened, Why It Matters, and What Comes Next. It will be released October 8th. And Todd Stern joins me now here in the studio. Todd, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Take us back to pre-Paris. Pre-Paris, what were some of the biggest puzzles that had to be solved, some of the biggest complexity?
Yeah, well, when we came in back in 2009 with President Obama, we faced a situation where there was a negotiation going on that was supposed to end that year, at the end of 2009, in Copenhagen. And there was in effect, a paradigm that most other countries had accepted, which involved a legally binding agreement and what was called a kind of firewall separation between developed and developing countries.
Right.
And I knew this from experience in Kyoto in 1997, that could never work for the United States. It wouldn't be good for the world either, because already by that time, developing countries were responsible for about 60% of emissions, and China was the biggest emitter. But I also knew that if we did that, we would end up having to go get acceptance by the Senate, and that just wasn't going to happen. So we had to change that paradigm bit by bit.
And what was the trick for doing that? How did that go? Was it just patience and...
It was a lot of talking. We didn't come out right away and announce this, because that would have been a kind of harsh way to introduce a new administration. But we started talking with people, and we talked a lot with Denmark. Denmark was the host of the presidency of the climate meeting that year. And they were led by a very astute figure, Bo Lidegaard. And at a certain point in the year, Denmark figured that the traditional paradigm was not going to work, and they proposed something new. And the new thing that they proposed was quite synchronous with what we had been talking about, not accidentally. Mm-hmm. And that launched an enormous battle that went on, a quite dramatic battle over the last 3 months of 2009.
Let's jump to the present. How's the agreement doing? How's your baby doing in the real world? Because, of course, President Trump left it, then Biden came back.
I think that the Paris Agreement is actually doing very well. It's not doing everything that it needs to do, but there was a very powerful set of further guidelines to put Paris into effect. There is something that some people have called the Paris effect, which is that when you had this agreement and the message went out all over the world to citizens, but also to businesses, to boardrooms, what you saw after that was this huge investment in green technology. And the progress, not only because of Paris, but Paris was part of it, the progress in green technology over the last 10 years has been nothing short of spectacular. We have other problems, but not that.
Last question. The Paris Climate Agreement is in place, but then there's this pandemic. People are feeling like they need to have cheaper energy. Inflation goes up. Is there a challenge from the economic shock that the world has been through, and the goals of Paris, which are to install green energy?
I don't think so. If you look now, the progress has been so amazing that solar energy now is the cheapest form of electricity in the whole world. In most countries, it's cheaper to build a plant and operate it than just to continue operating an existing fossil fuel plant. So you have all of the factors of cost and efficiency argue in favor of the continuing green transition. The biggest factor that argues against it, doesn't argue against it, but that sets itself up against it, is the continuing fossil fuel power. And the power of fossil fuel companies in terms of what they do and also in terms of the influence they exert on leaders all over the world. And that's the biggest challenge.
Todd Stern, thank you so much. And a reminder, the book is called Landing the Paris Climate Agreement, and it is available on October 8th.